Okay. Time for some Guild Wars 2, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I have the honor of presenting you the final story chapter of Guild Wars 2's Icebrood Saga. So let's jump into it. Let's go to war with the dragons, as you do.
Champion, the Arcane Counselor has arrived. They've reconsidered aligning with Jormag. They're willing to work with us. Come quickly.
The Arcane Counselor. Not sure remember who that is. Can we just do pure full screen? Okay. That's a crash. Okay. Not sure what caused that. We're just going to try to reopen it again. It really isn't like full screen. Why are we crashing? Looks like it's an Arc DPS thing. Let's just uninstall Arc DPS for now. We don't need it to do story content. Actually, I'm not sure the last time I've ever used Arc DPS. All right, Arc DPS deleted. Let's reinstall DirectX 12 proxy. Yes, 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 yes. Remove. All right, let's try again. Looks like Arc DPS has not yet been updated for this release. Those guys are usually on it pretty quick. Oh, let's see if my supposition is correct. Hmm. Okay. Maybe we're just going to be playing in windowed full screen tonight. Come to think of it, I don't think that DirectX 12 games have full screen modes, so maybe it's just a conflict there. It's my way of thinking. All right. Let's go do some gaming. Consult with Irene.
Nice gear.
Yikes, that's a full inventory. That's better. Ah, keys for free. Interesting. Two free keys. Well, that's quite fun.
Do you need my help?
We'll deal with these later.
Make no mistake, Primordus's death is our priority. Our intention was never to contribute to the atrocity of the Frozen.
We've all made mistakes. We just can't make any more.
Commander, we have a plan! Or the beginnings of one. First, Bram and the spirits of the wild did help even the odds.
Fire and ice forces are clashing with increasing frequency. The death toll is staggering. It will only get worse.
There have been sightings of Bram leading packs of destroyers. Scary stuff.
I watched him struggle with the fire. With himself. He got control, but...
The longer Bram is connected to Primordus, the more integrated they become. Until there's nothing left.
his sacrifice is a gamble. But what choice do we have? Timey, can we count on Primordus showing up?
Research shows every location where the Frozen have appeared has a powerful ley line beneath it.
Pinpoint where the ley lines intersect and lure the dragons there. We do that, bam! We force him to collide. Our models revealed that elder dragons aren't just attracted to ley lines, they're literally magically connected to them.
Not a call or a scent, but as if it's actually pulling me toward it. A tether. I suspect it pulls both ways.
How can we change the direction of magic?
How do you change the shape of light?
Aurene uses her prismatic powers to divert the magic,
I can tap into the ley line and cut Jormag and Primordius off from any magic not their own.
And why exactly haven't we done this before?
So I want to
this is
know.
a final measure. There will be no second chances. Aurene, are you sure you want to...
Get involved.
Bram walked willingly into fire. This is the least I can do. The longer I sit out, the more loopholes Jormag finds. I still believe in the balance. Just... maybe I can give the balance a push.
Our plan might even increase Bram's chance of surviving the, afterclash, let's call it.
Then let's get to work.
Okay. Yeah, so a little background for anyone who's curious. I have been more or less a Guild Wars outsider logging in for story releases since... let's think. Well, really, since the end of Season 4. I went to see the announcement of the Icebrood Saga at the Moore Theater in Seattle back in 2019, was it? Came away feeling pretty hollow. And I would gonna say that the Icebrood Saga, so far... well, it's a complicated story, because we got a few real feeling releases, and then a diversion of the studio to working on an expansion. And the releases since the expansion announcement have been a little thin. This is not a critique, it's just an observation everyone can agree with. My real intent is to really critically re-examine Guild Wars 2 when the expansion comes out later this year, we hope. And in the meantime, I am just treading water with it. And I love the IP, and I'm just curious what it's going to do. I'm open to being hooked back into being a daily Guild Wars player, but I've been open to that for a couple of years, and
Troops are on the field awaiting your orders,
the
Commander.
hook hasn't sunk in yet.
Just say the word.
Granted, I've put 3,500 hours into the game, so I would not say that I failed to enjoy the game. Anyway, enough chatter. Let's play some games. What do we got? We're putting everything we can into this. Let's hope it's enough. Let's hear the details. The Arcane Council's data. How does Javi sound? Our tacticians have pinpointed a ley line nexus with increased dragon minion activity. We'll engage the minions to hopefully draw out the Elder Dragon champions. That will force the dragons to intervene. Exactly. Steelcatcher and Bram will bring their forces, and we'll spring the trap. The dragons will have no choice but to intervene or risk losing their respective champion. Well, then what? We'll have to force the dragons into direct conflict. Jormag will try to avoid it, but with Aurene manipulating the ley line, she can give them a nudge. We hope. Didn't we put these dragons to sleep a few seasons ago? Another day, another dragon. Right, Commander? Sorry. We're a little nervous right now. Just relax. Let's go over the plan again. Right. Well, Jormag and Primordius are each other's weakness. like anti-symbiotic organisms or polarized holomatrices. So we get them to clash and they'll destroy each other? That's the hope. However, Jormag is aware of this outcome and will move to avoid it. Thus, the plan. Lure both to a ley line nexus and cut them off from their magic source. Then what? Imagine two immensely powerful magnets pulling toward each other combined with reactive balthazate. It'll trigger a feedback loop that'll hopefully destroy both. What about collateral damage? What are the risks? If our math is wrong, we could end up permanently tipping the balance, destroying only one and leaving the other incredibly overpowered. But it's a necessary risk, despite the magic fallout. I hope you double-checked your calculations. You know what? The dye job on this cape is suddenly bothering me. Let's take a minute and engage in the true endgame. Fashion wars. Dyes. Yes, I know how this works. Let's use a softer color. What are the colors we're using in this palette? Steel, white, white gold. What's steel? It's a little softer. Head to the battlefield. To the portal we go, I think. I'm really dumb, y'all. Where is my dumb warrior brain meant to go?
Embrace simplicity.
I don't understand what they want. What my character has agreed to do. All right, come on, Greg. Think hard. You got this. There's a chopper. Do I just go to any fight? I'm just gonna look this up so I don't waste time.
Agony, torment, pain!
Troops are on the field awaiting your orders, Commander. I'll take you there. Just say the word.
Okay. That is a hype-ass piece of art.
Destroyers are crawling all over, and there's no dragons.
They didn't make things easy. Clear out the firebugs and make way for the prisms.
Launchpad? Don't mind if I do.
Yes.
You honor me.
I guess we're gonna kill that thing.
Strong.
It's a big boy.
Almost ready.
Not big enough.
Ready for the next one.
Prism's coming in for a landing, Commander.
The area's cleared, Kaith. Bring him down.
We break the champion's connection to the dragons. Then we use that magic against them.
What'll happen to Bram? To Ryland?
Bram knew the risks.
Nice of you to clear out the trash for me, Commander.
Did you grow? You look like you grew. All that dormant energy can't be good for you.
You picked a weak dragon you knew you could control. Coward. I'll show you real dragon power.
Jormag has not yet joined him, champion. You must draw them out.
We're long past excuses, Ryland. You made your choice. This needs to end.
Uh-oh.
Your mind lacks focus. Eat my dust.
Uh-oh.
So,
Eat my dust.
this is pack justice?
You won't let him leave. We can't get distracted.
That didn't go to plan.
He'll be back. His pride won't let him stay away long.
Wonder where he gets that from. In the meantime, fire alarm!
Bram, are you yourself?
Kabram!
Unsettling.
Time. Here we fight.
We're not here to kill you. We're here to kill Primordus.
We are Primordus.
Almost ready. Strong. Urge to kill rising. Get back here. Adrenaline rising. Eat my dust.
I bid you to burn. What?
Kill. Ice. Just try it.
My champion will teach you to fear.
Have a look at these dragons.
Icebrood reinforcements!
They're drawing on the ley line. It'll shift the power in Jormad's favor. That's bad.
A huge fan of
I think Primordius shrunk since the last time we saw him.
Destroy the ley line siphons. Do that.
Still
and
pretty
break
fucking good
connections
looking.
to the dragons. I'm
All right,
sure it'll be no
I have to go
problem.
kill stuff.
I've stayed my hand before, brother. No more. Today, I obliterate the balance that chains us together.
Gaining adrenaline. Almost there.
As long as Jormag is connected to the power of a champion and the Frozen, they will keep Primordus cowed.
Don't let up! We've got to bring both champions down!
kill Jormag. Strong.
Ram, come on. This hurts us more than it hurts you.
Stand to have it hurt us less! Same time! One is not enough! We've got to bring Violet and Bran down together! You won't escape!
Bring them down together. Okay.
Eat my dust! Gaining adrenaline!
Let's soften up Rai.
Back at you! Almost there! Adrenaline rising!
Hello.
Almost there! Try me! Not on my watch!
All right.
There's one to remember me by! Almost ready! Eat my dust! Adrenaline rising! You won't escape!
Use the prisms now. The champions are hanging on to dragons by a thread.
Dragons are vulnerable! This is it!
What? Zap? And zap.
Elder Dragons. This might take a couple rounds. Stay strong.
Ice and fire forces are desperate. Can't let them get a foothold on the ley line.
Mortis and Jordan have reached equilibrium on the power meter! We're close!
Eat Sharazuka. Man, this thing kinda hits hard, actually.
Gaining adrenaline. Oh, almost there. Almost there. You won't escape. Eat my dust.
Wow, it's a little annoying.
Urge to kill rising. Adrenaline rising. Eat my dust. Almost ready. Time to argue. Get back here. Adrenaline rising.
I feel it, champion. The connection's weak.
The prisms are ready to launch you closer, Commander. Attack now! Sever their bond to the dragon.
Hey, Young, how's it going? Killing dragons tonight. Or at least bopping them on the nose. Just woke up too early to tell. I respect that. I'm doing good. It's the end of my day. We're playing the new story release from Guild Wars 2,
Is this genuinely actually working?
which looks like it's about to
Stay
end
focused.
really quickly.
One last push. For Bram. For all of us. Champion, help me! There's too much. There's power. It's so wild. Get to the prisms.
I'm coming. Hold on, Aurene.
No! We can't stop now. Not for anything.
Transfer power to Aurene. Zoop. Oh shit.
Champion,
What's going on?
It's done, champion.
What? So did we killed the dragons? Oh man. What is that? Alright. I guess we're gonna debrief. I knew this was gonna be quick. But I didn't know it was gonna be this quick. Look for
Anyone on
survivors.
comms? Anyone seen
Maybe I'm
Graham?
wrong.
Haven't found Ryland yet either. If this was the dragons contained...
Graham! There he is!
Whoa. How am I not dead?
You did it, Bram.
How many did we lose?
A lot less than we would have if you hadn't done what you did.
I'm good, Commander. I know I did what I had to do. Just need a second to remember myself.
Are the spirits of the wild still with you?
They kept me from falling off the edge. Wasn't easy. They're gonna need time to recover.
You need time, Bram. To rest. To heal.
You are the biggest hypocrite I've ever met, Commander.
Big true.
Ryland! Give it up!
Settle down. It's over.
Stay with him. I'll go help Ritlock.
It's time to face the Legion's justice, Ryland.
You look like Skrit Cub. Jorma
Yeah.
did a number on you. You're beat. Primordius'
Something like
champion
that
is
guy.
lying in the dirt. You don't have a chance.
We've been down this road before, Ryland. I think this is gonna go.
Not now, not ever. Not on my watch. Take that!
Oh my god.
Come and get me. Eat my dust. Almost there. Gaining adrenaline. Urge to kill rising. Gaining adrenaline.
Dormag, Vanguard, you were just a tool.
Can't you see? They
No
made...
one made me. I made myself, and I will never be unmade.
Rylan the self-made
Cinder
char.
saw you now. She'd gut you. Your warbands sacrificed themselves for
So
this?
jumpy. Hey Spiffy, I'll read your comment after this fight. Eat my dust, worst voice line in the game. Yeah, I used to play with all the voice callouts off, but when I was playing the game all the time. But now that I only play it sporadically, I don't know. It kind of has a pleasant sense memory for me, almost.
Eat my dust.
Eat my dust. I used to play with my my wife. She played a female guardian, so she'd always get the line, "I can outrun a centaur." I'm sure there's a way to blast through this fight that I'm just not aware of.
Eat my dust.
You're destroying yourself, cub. You can still come back. My silence speaks. Like I take the advice of a short-sighted burnout who never had the steel to be imperative. Or a dam who's content to live and die as nothing more
Nostalgic
than
Nolan.
Almost there.
You're nothing to me. Less than nothing.
I'm ready. Are you? Gaining adrenaline. Eat my dust. Urge to kill rising. Not on my watch. Almost ready. Counterattack.
Where you going, bruh?
Enough. Sit down and shut up. You had everything.
What?
Pedigree, talent, limitless potential.
You never understood.
You're right. I don't. I was never some golden cub. Nobody gave me anything. I had to earn it.
You're just jealous.
I'm ashamed. Ashamed I bore you. Better to have bled you out and spared the world.
Harsh, Mom.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Nothing left to prove.
That's brutal. Rylan was his son.
He gave Ryland every chance to do the right thing.
Sometimes there is no right thing. Let's give them time.
Rest in peace, furry bad man. Dear furry bad man, you were mad and you were bad. But your dad is cool. Goodbye. Okay. Spiffy says, Deke, I have a question. Guild Wars looks pretty cool, but you're worried about how they deal with microtransactions. I'm not going to dance on them. I was respecting him. Tongue-in-cheek, sure, but I have some honor. Is it crazy like Planetside? Is it predatory? You know, you've been burned out many times in the past. Robocraft, etc. Actually, so, okay. The microtransaction model for Guild Wars is pretty relaxed. Sorry. Relaxed is probably the wrong word. Um, all the microtransactions in Guild Wars allow you to do is to get gold, get cosmetics, and get convenience. And none of these things, once you get to a certain point in the game, really give you more player power. So, like, my player, this is my armor. I have legendary raid armor, which is the same exact stat weight as Ascended armor that I made 5 years ago. So, yeah. Microtransactions won't make you better at this game. They'll just make it easier for you to enjoy. They'll make certain things less time-consuming. Here's a pretty good example of a high-quality microtransaction. Is the Copper-Fed Salvage-O-Matic. So the economy in this game is driven by salvaging items you drop into materials you can use to craft the stuff you want. So you do a lot of salvaging. And normally you salvage by buying salvage kits, but these kits are a little more user-friendly and material light, safe, economical, something like that. But no, if you were going to get in Guild Wars, I would not worry about the microtransactions. They're not bad. It does have a gambling type mechanic with Black Lion keys. If that's a problem for you, just something to be aware of. For me, it's not something that I particularly care about very much. All you get from Black Lion keys are cosmetic items and convenience items. Some of them are pretty valuable and exclusive to the Black Lion chests. But if you're not a completionist, I would say it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoy the game, then for me, I have always enjoyed the game for its exploration, connectivity with communities, and the combat is actually pretty fun. If you like that stuff, then the microtransactions aren't really going to be a problem for you. If you're a completionist who needs to have everything, then the microtransactions might be predatory on you a little bit. Hopefully that answers the question. Anyway, let's regroup with our friends.
I tried to contain the desolation, but I could not stop it.
None of us could. Krisha and Ritlock saved the best future for the Charr today. The Legions will remember that.
All that power. 2 dragons. How are you feeling?
I felt such a rush of wild magic. But then some of it seemed to just flow through me. There's still so much I don't know.
Wait, you're saying some of it's missing?
We have research to do.
Missing magic. Oh boy.
That's how it's done.
Champion's End. Alright. Is there cool stuff to get for free? Is there other free cosmetics? So by free, do you mean freebies, or by free, do you mean earnable in-game? What kind of free are you thinking about? Let's see what our allies have to say. Earnable in-game. Okay, so yeah, this is an interesting one. So if you look here, there are a whole bunch of outfits. Outfits are basically... It's not actually... Yeah, okay. Outfits are basically full armor replacements. And you get them on the gem store. You cannot get these in-game. Some of these are pretty damn cool. Some of them are pretty flavorful, and some of them aren't. So, this is only on the gem store. No outfits. What else? So a big part of the game are mounts and gliders. So this game has some of the best mounts in MMOs, I think, period. I haven't even unlocked all of them, as you can see. This is the War Claw is a mount for the World versus World game mode that I haven't unlocked. And this is a prestige flying mount I haven't unlocked. They're both unlocked in game. The trick is the skins for all these things are unlocked only through the microtransaction store. So if you like this stuff, then you're going to be paying. Or, and this is one of the things that makes Guild Wars interesting in this respect, you can actually buy gems for gold. So if you want to grind hard, you can buy stuff. And by having a lot of rewards in the gem store that are very desirable, that you can convert gold to gems to buy, what it does is it makes most things in game come down to a gold standard. So if you like grinding and unlocking cosmetics, then yeah, there can be a lot here for you. The last thing is gliders. Gliders are this game's was the main mechanic for the first expansion. And it basically lets you travel long distances when you're falling by gliding. And these are a cosmetic item that predominantly are only unlocked from the gem store. Yeah, like Guild Wars is a game that's full of cool shit. It's full of cool shit. It's actually a really incredible game that I've sunk quite a lot of time into. Technically, you can get everything free by grinding. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true. Bram, past few days are a blur. If not for the spirits and you, I'd be another body on the battlefield. You don't remember anything. Just glimpses. Spirits did all they could to shield me from being completely overtaken by Primordus. What I remember, things I did. I don't think I can ever forgive myself. No one should. I can't speak for the others, but it was inevitable. There was no other way. Kabram! I'm kind of sad that Bram didn't do a Kabram in this episode. Like, it was just a one-time thing that always saddened me. The prophecy? I'm just glad you're back. Prophecies have a way of being right and wrong at the same time. Same damn time. I guess it's just how you interpret them. I don't know. Either way, this Norna prophecy ain't gonna waste his second chance. What else? Oh, can I get it? Oh, this was one of the options. Sorry, Kai. I can't read. Can I get a Kabram? I may be exhausted in a state of perpetual self-loathing right now, but that doesn't mean I can't muster up the energy to knock you on your ass, Commander. Ah, okay. Spiffy, it's a pretty respectable model for us customers. Thank you for helping you out. I might look into it. Yeah, I'd say Guild Wars is very friendly to the Western sensibility of fair play when it comes to its microtransactions. I think that for people who aren't particularly drawn to... I think the interesting thing about it, for me, is that because the game has a cap on gear, a cap on power, but an ever-flowing stream of cosmetics, if you aren't really captivated by the cosmetic part of the game, then the pursuit of rewards becomes pretty uninteresting pretty quickly. Like, I'm at that point with my character where I just don't care about anything I get in game. I can change to basically any build that I want with a small amount of friction, and I have nothing to chase. There's nothing I care about. But that's just me and my sensibility. I have a lot more I can say about Guild Wars, but I'm not going to at the moment. I changed my glider skin accidentally. Let's put it back to that badass flying wing. Where is it? There we go. I love this thing. It's so cool. So the game has no end game. Yeah, there's an end game in Guild Wars. It's just, it's a little more a la carte than most MMOs. It has a little less progression than most MMOs, I would say. It has raids, although there hasn't been a new one in quite a long time. It has 5-man fractals, which are kind of like dungeons with increasing difficulty levels. Although, to me, I don't know. Fractals, to me, don't do what I would like dungeons to do. But I would say the strength of Guild Wars, for me, as someone who doesn't really like PvP and MMOs very much, which is one of the things that Guild Wars does, it has a competitive PvP mode called Conquest that you queue up for. And it has a large-scale world versus world mode. It's kind of similar to a Planetside continent in a lot of ways, where you capture territory and there's 3 different factions and you roll around in big zergs, try to capture towers and stuff. But I think what Guild Wars is really strong with is its world building, and I like the open world stuff it does a lot. When it adds new maps to have events, and like you see people running around and doing these big event chains to get like exclusive rewards, like infusions and stuff. I don't know. I think that's where the game tends to be pretty strong. As Kai said, it's very solo friendly. Alone together. Yeah. And you can really get away with playing the game quite by yourself if that's your preference. Depending on who you are, you might see that as a good thing or a bad thing. Instance PvP gear's balance. Yeah, so in PvP, your PvE gear doesn't matter. Your stats don't matter. All stats are completely normalized in the instance PvP mode. Now, World versus World is different. World versus World, it uses your PvE gear. So that's a little bit different. Okay. Let's see. What's has something to say? War Master Javi. You got it, Spiff. Well, so much for Jormag and Primordus. What now? For me, pick up the pieces. Amor's loss hit everyone hard. Vigil's still figuring things out. Everyone's still reeling in shock, including me. I feel your pain. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. How are you holding up? I'm holding it together, barely. Amora left some big shoes to fill. Whether this is permanent or just for now, I don't really know. Work needs to get done. I'm right now doing it. But I'm tired.
Commander, these magic readings are spiking into the red zone. Our equipment can barely handle it. And it can't be good. Whenever an Elder Dragon dies, the magic released wreaks havoc on the natural order. It just caused 2 to die at once. This requires more analysis with Timey.
Have fun, you two. Timey.
This event is unprecedented. Never in my life did I expect this to happen, much less be a part of it. I have to document everything.
Got to see at least someone's enthused. How could I not be? Commander, our friends didn't give their lives for nothing. They brought us one step closer to fixing things. I have to be optimistic about that. Otherwise, I'd cry. You doing okay? Are any of us... Look, at Ritlock over there. Krisha, Javi, we've all been through a lot, but especially them. Their pain isn't going away anytime soon. I'll be fine. I'm just a little tired is all. How are things at Gorik? Amazing. I'm already formulating a schedule for our research.
I anticipate we'll be spending a lot of time in the lab together, working on things. Oh ho ho. I see. Okay. That'll do it, I guess. So I think a lot of us in the community were hoping that this confrontation was going to happen at the Eye of the North. But I don't think that's what we're seeing at all. This is just, I have no idea where this is. Some random snowy place in the Shiver Peaks. Gork about to get some. It's true. I don't know. That might not be cool to say though, because I think Timey's a child. I don't know. Maybe she's like a teenager. She was a kid at the start, back in 2012. It's been 9 years. Maybe she's old enough to have a boyfriend. I don't know. Instance PvP also unlocks everything for you, so you can trial new abilities and builds before you unlock them for real. It's true. It's true. If all you want to do is play around with the class, you can go to Heart of the Mists, which is the PvP lobby.
Code of the judge and code of the jury.
Dear Kendorian, 2020 and 2021 brought extraordinary changes to everyone's lives. We forged a success story in honor of the Guild Wars 2 community and the support you've given us through these challenging times. Thank you for playing Icebrood Saga with us. Saga's End, Draconic Core. A lingering force encircles eternally within the orb, flowing between ice and fire. Okay.
Strength, potency, power.
I was curious if this would give me some kind of cosmetic effect. Maybe it will. In the future. This old content you're just finishing in preparation for the expansion? No, this literally came out today, Kai.
Give me a report.
Everyone's playing it for the first time. Yeah, this is the last release of the Icebrood Saga, which started back in... at the end of 2019, if my memory is correct. But I am just kind of checking in on things before the expansion. I'm gonna have to meditate on this and read some other impressions. But my overall thinking is that this is one of the thinnest story releases I've ever seen from the game. And we killed 2 dragons in it. It feels a bit anticlimactic after the level of quality that Arena was able to hit with Path of Fire in Season 4. It paints a very downward feeling trajectory throughout the Icebrood Saga. I really hope that the upcoming expansion is worth all of the quality they had to trim from the Icebrood Saga, because they've really... This whole story of the confrontation of these 2 dragons, fire and ice, something that's been building up for 7 years. And it deserved better than this. Is Scarlet's War the one where they burned down Lion's Arch? Yeah, that's the one where she she had a ship called the Breachmaker that she brought to Lion's Arch to like hit the ley line beneath it, which caused a ley line to wake up Mordramoth, and
which caused Mordremoth to attack, and everyone went to... And that was the first expansion. And then after we killed Mordremoth, his magic went every fucking where, and we investigated things for a while, and then all of a sudden, Balthazar, the ex-human god of war, popped up out of nowhere. And we went to go deal with him, because he was trying to kill one of the other Elder Dragons. Anyway, there's a lot. Guild Wars is a lot. This is a... Honestly, looking back at this, I kind of wish that I'd waited until the End of Dragons announcement. Just plow through all these releases at once. Usually, with Guild Wars releases, there's enough content with each episode that I get a few days of play time. But the way the Icebrood Saga's been, it's just been like a few hours at best every time I log in, and it's not enough to give me like a thread in my mind connecting events. Anyway, I expected this to take my whole evening, and it did not. And I'm not really sure if I care to go chasing any achievements. Let's just have a quick look and see what there is, though. Why can't I find
Give me a report.
the achievements for this story chapter? Am I looking in the wrong place? Is this a normal thing for theme park MMOs now with these big story updates? SWTOR does something similar. I don't know for sure, Kai. The only MMOs I am caught up with are Guild Wars and World of Warcraft. My impression, though, is that pretty much every game that's a live service of some kind is under pressure to release new content to its players every few months at a minimum. Because otherwise, people aren't constantly logged in, and if they're not constantly logging in, then they're not buying anything. Used to be that whenever I would come back for a story patch, I'd always put like, you know, $20, $30 into the gem store to buy something cool. But not this time.
Duty calls.
Fractals, raids, competitive, side stories. It's not side stories. It's not Heart of Thorns. It's not Path of Fire. General? No. Story journal? Oh, it's right at the top. Okay. And this is what a lot of the PvE gameplay, if you enjoy the open world stuff and the story stuff, boils down to is you do the thing once, and then you play for achievements. I don't know. I think that since I started playing Guild Wars 2 in 2015, I've kind of changed. And in some ways, I've changed more than the game has. So sometimes when I critique it, I feel I'm not being entirely fair to the part of me that enjoyed the game so much. Because I really did. Van, honestly, you were always surprised reading that held down to things somewhat well, despite losing a lot of key people over the years. I think almost all the graphics our team that got revamped since Guild War 2 became free. We loved the world back in the day, man. Yeah, Arena, the studio of Arena has been through some really rough times. They had a massive layoff back in was it 2019, I think? They've had multiple unannounced projects just get shut down. And, I mean, and a seeming lack of continuity on systems direction over time. Like, what's the deal with raids? What's the deal with fractals? What's the deal with world versus world? What's the deal with... There are a number of things that they've teased that we've been waiting for forever. And, the only thing that we can rely on is every single time they update the game, they put in more story stuff. And even now with Icebrood Saga, they've stopped giving us open world stuff. They've given us this instance hub with these dragon response missions, which I think have merit on their own for some interesting things that they do well that the rest of Guild Wars has historically done poorly. You had a good buddy who worked there who now works at Google at graphic stuff on some app. He described Arena as a place he loved but felt like he was always drinking out of the fire hose. Yeah, Guild Wars is the art style of Guild Wars, like Daniel Dosiu, I think is how you pronounce his name, was the original art director, and he like it has always been one of Guild Wars' strongest assets. It's just a beautiful fucking game. And even in places where things have strayed a little bit over time, it's still gorgeous. Let's just find a cool looking zone to bum around in while I think for a few. It's a zone with a lot of unique art. Maybe one of the Ascalonian zones.
Everyone fights for something. The answers lie hidden around you.
Kai, is it just related to focusing on an old game, or does the company have other problems? Because this is one of the biggest MMOs, as you understand. Definitely not a niche title that would struggle financially. Yeah. No, I think ArenaNet has like 200 to 300 developers, something like that. I don't know how many of them are working on Guild Wars 2. That's been a question that we had some clarity on a few years ago, but I think that's changed over time. So we don't really know what's getting worked on. I'm actually going to slow down. These areas were not meant to be consumed at roller beetle pace. Just gonna go on foot.
You'll be doing that one for days.
It's hard for me to give a really impartial picture of Guild Wars Kai. It definitely is not a niche title. I think it's kind of a symptom of MMOs these days going through a prolonged identity crisis, where they're a genre that's based on multiplayer, that over time has been designing the multiplayer out of their games. And what do you get when you do that? Well, you get a kind of situation like this where I can go into any zone of the game and I don't feel threatened. Whether that's a good thing or not. Just depends on who you are. Good music. That's part of why I come to Ascalon, Kai. I just love the music here. Then I forgot what happened, but it sounded like they had some new investments or something that people involved wanted to pump more out. And some stuff. Yeah, there's something in 27 and 2018. Don't remember the exact details. You like my mounts? I'll show off my mounts here in a second. I don't have all of them. Definitely not in the game when you play. Yeah, so the mount system came in Path of Fire, which released in 2017. Really, Guild Wars 2, in my mind, kind of caught on fire between, like, in a good way. This is the bunny mount. Springer. high jumper. As you can imagine, the mounts trivialize getting around some of these old world zones in a major way. I have a cool like lightning skin for this guy. It's inconsistent, Band. Most jumping puzzles have areas where it'll dismount you, but there are also quite a lot of jumping puzzles where the anti-mount fields are not sufficient to stop you. Why did the music stop? Music interval. What else? Yeah, so Guild Wars caught on fire back in 2016, in my opinion. There was this weird thing that happened where Heart of Thorns released. It really galvanized the player base in a big way, but in order to get it done, the studio basically released no content for 9 months before the expansion, and then had nothing ready for 9 months after the expansion. And as good as Heart of Thorns was, that was just murder on the player base. So they brought out Season 3 starting in the spring of 2016, and they released content every 2 to 3 months for like the next 3 years, basically. And it was extremely impressive. Season 3, and then right into Path of Fire expansion in 2017, and then right into Season 4. And then the end of Season 4, there's this moment where you get this scene that looks exactly like you would think the end of Guild Wars 2 would look like. Every single season before that had ended with some kind of a hook for future content, but Season 4 didn't. And no one knew what was coming. No one had any idea. And then in 2019, Guild Wars 2 teased the future of the franchise at a big announcement at the Moore Theater in Seattle. And I went there because I live in the area. And they announced the Icebrood Saga, which is going to be episodic releases with expansion quality content. And ever since then, the game has been changing direction and falling to pieces. But then, we got the hope for a new expansion. Bobby Stein, the associate narrative director at ArenaNet, who I interviewed a couple months ago now, I guess it was. He basically said that they were in the middle of working on Icebrood Saga, and they had this whole thing planned out, and they basically got an opportunity to say, like, hey, do you want to work on an expansion? And they were like, hell yes, if you want to work on an expansion. Which is interesting, because it suggests that... I don't know. I think expansions are inherently good for MMOs. Especially MMOs like this, because Guild Wars, as good as it is, having an expansion is an opportunity not just to bring in new maps and new story, but to like really expand the game in meaningful ways, make major changes. For me, my story of Guild Wars 2 is it's been 4 years since an expansion, and it feels like that. It feels like the game hasn't been expanded in 4 years. So this is the Raptor mount band. Long jumper. This guy's pretty badass. Who else? Skimmer. Skimmer can float on water. And actually, if you train him, he can go underwater too. There's some water over here. Let's have a look. I will say this, man. If you are in a spot to go back and like go through the old story content, it is super, like, I think that Path of Fire is actually Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire in seasons 3 and 4 are super good content. And I think are totally worthwhile to go through. How do I dive? I don't remember. There we go. Underwater, baby. Where's this go? Ah, there's so many cool things about this game. It's amazing how thrilling it is and how much it feels like it lets me down. I'm not sure if it's more reflective of me or not. Giving you SWTOR vibes. Has it gotten harder? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Guild Wars has gotten harder. It depends what you compare it to. Compared to vanilla, yeah. I think most people think vanilla Guild Wars 2 is toxically easy. Like it's so easy. It's like bad for the game almost. Okay, new mount. This is the Jackal. Jackal is a cool wolfy boy. And he has his little teleport move. So he's good at traversing uphills faster than the Raptor. But across straights or downhills, the Raptor's faster. And the other cool thing about the wolf is that there are some sand portals in the world. If you find a sand portal, the wolf can traverse through them, which no other mount can do. All right, I should be still scaled by area. Yeah, my stats are scaled down. This is because this is one of the entry. This is one of the newbie zones. You think it was Alderaan where they have these massively mana ray travel things? Oh yeah, that's cool. I will say this. As weird as it just was to have like 2 of the remaining 3 Elder Dragons just taken out in a 1 hour long story sequence. As weird as that was, I am looking forward to a post-Dragon Guild Wars 2. Because I think it's some of the best storytelling in Guild Wars has happened outside of the realm of dragon threats. Like in Season 3, there's this really great sequence with the White Mantle and the Mersat. It's like... And then Balthazar. Dragons are these cool ideas. But man, they make for great MacGuffins and lousy villains. At least the way that Elder Dragons are conceived in this franchise. Another MMO has such great cities, at least from the ones you've played. I love the look of which MMO are you referring to, Kai? I think Final Fantasy comes close, but looks worse. Yeah, I don't think any other MMO looks better than Guild Wars, honestly. I don't think WoW Retail looks better. I just think that the art style is holds up the best of everything. Like, just look at this. Like, let me see if I can go to one of the newer areas that really flexes. What would be a good place to go? Let me think. Let's go to Grothmar Valley. Where is it? It's up here, right? Yeah. So this was the very first chapter of the Icebrood Saga. Like a prologue is what they called it at the time. Here I can show you probably my favorite mount, the Roller Beetle. check this out.
Can't believe we're reporting them.
Oh no, I'm a terrible driver.
I'm a soldier, not a bully. But I'm also not a snitch. You know why they're here.
And this place is murder on my frame rate.
She was even more magnificent than the stories.
This is where the story of Ryland kicks off. The son of Ritlock, who we just had to end.
Due to spectral infestation, the doomed overworlds are off limits during the celebration. That's in order.
Yeah, I think that we need to wait and see what what End of Dragons is going to do.
Look, I admire.
I think in a lot of ways, Guild Wars fans feel like they know what to expect from the game. And it's hard for anyone to see how ArenaNet can surprise us. Because Path of Fire was just like that. It was an expansion that was... It was very good, but it was very unsurprising, I think. Like, it did a lot of things get well that Guild Wars 2 already did well. But it also dropped a lot of things that were quite interesting. Is it one of the games you regret not playing properly? Feel like you missed out by not committing to it at the time? Maybe. I mean, if you watch Mighty Teapot's stream, there's definitely parts of the community that are quite alive and well. And because of the way that the content is designed, you can go back through these old zones and still find people in them. I mean, it'll never... The old zones will never be as populated as whatever is the freshest content. That's just the way it always is. But... And I think that there's actually going to be a pretty good incentive to go back and complete the old content in the lead up to the expansion, because I think they're going to be putting in some kind of a massive meta achievement incentive to go back and complete all the story content. And they're adding like new achievements and stuff to previous missions. Honestly, it looks pretty interesting. But I just don't know if it's for me. And here's another mount that I haven't shown you yet. This is a secret mount from Path of Fire that you had to pay gold to unlock and jump through all these hoops. Check this out. This thing's so badass. This is the Griffin. It's more like your tastes have changed. At the time this came out, you was way more into theme park stuff, but now you find it so boring. Kai, I'm right there with you, actually. I think that's a big part of why I find Guild Wars harder to enjoy than I used to. Another big part of it, too, is when I came to it, I was playing with my wife. And she never played a game like this before, so I kind of got to see it through her eyes. Even though I played WoW in the past and other MMOs, it's just like... When you play with someone... and you're kind of like in charge of their fun, and you get to show them what's good about it. It's it really refreshes. But it's okay to get past it, I think. I find myself much more attracted to other kinds of experiences these days. In a way, I'm like something of an identity crisis. Like, I have no idea what to do with myself anymore. Then again, maybe I never knew. I'm still surprised at how much fun I'm having playing Planetside. Like, coming at it from the content angle and connecting with all these people in the community is keeping it very, very fresh for me in a way that game's never been before. I am Deeg, Lord of Talking. Dance with me. Come to my... Visit the Lord of Talking. Last time you played was with your partner. Like, she liked it because you don't need to immerse yourself in mechanics of the game more to enjoy the world. Yeah. Same way with mine. I literally figured out her build for her. I told her how to play her character, and she just enjoyed being in a fantasy world. She enjoyed the art and the music, and she liked the story and the characters, and she didn't need it to be like this incredibly believable thing with huge amounts of agency. She just wanted to do something fun with me in a fantasy world. And after a couple years of it, she just got her fill. She was done with it. And then I hung on until I got my legendary armor from the raid, and then after that, I just couldn't find the motivation. And since then, it's interesting because I'm in a position to still do interesting podcast content for this game. Like, there's a demand for it. But unlike with Planetside, where I feel like I understand why I'm drawn to it, I don't understand why I'm drawn to Guild Wars. Memories? I don't know. I would say the memories aren't enough. I cherish them, but you don't log in for memories, especially for a game that asks you to like a lifestyle game. You know, it was really interesting talking to Bobby Stein. I really got the sense that Arena is really a studio that's, when it can get away with it, it kind of treats itself a little bit like an artist collective. Like, there's a real great culture of art at ArenaNet. I'm not sure if it's like that on every team, but you get that sense with the actual art. And Bobby talked about the narrative team that way. And you kind of see it, like, the game feels like a gallery of beautiful things. But the question is, why do you need to go through a gallery like that more than once? And that's a question I've been chasing the answer to. A very weird but strong sense of wanderlust for you. Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, that's what gets me motivated to play Guild Wars, is unexplored. Unexplored stories, unexplored territory, unexplored lore. And, you know, the way that this game has done storytelling has always been a little, I mean, it's like MMO quality storytelling. It's not meant to be this kind of high agency, high emotion. It's meant to be, the world is supposed to be the character. And so I think that's the way MMOs tend to do well. And I think the open world does a great job of actually fulfilling that need. But it's funny because so much effort goes into producing this high production value single-player story content in the game that really tries to make the player the center of the story. And I think that's one of the things that really weakens it from a design perspective sometimes, for me. Like, the more important my character feels, the less important my actions feel. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm really just musing. Do a 360 jump? I wonder if I can do that. Let me see. You know, there are some actual race courses for the Beetle. Let me see if I can find one. Is there one here in Grothmar Valley? Grothmar Grand Tour Time Trial. Let's see what this is. You do well in races. Practice the course whenever you like. Want to give it a shot. All right, here we go. Here we go. Race time, baby. Oh no. I'm slow. I'm so slow.
What are you doing here?
Stone's got some nerve. Can you believe he's back after all these years? He really meant it,
Oh no. That's not good. Oh god, I'm so bad at this. It's hilarious. You ever feel like you'll get too tired or old for gaming? Sometimes. Sometimes I feel like just depressed about stuff. And I have a hard time understanding what's fun about this anymore. Ah, fuck that up. Alright, this is a lost cause. Lost cause. You've been thinking about that recently after reading about some future VR or AR predictions for gaming stuff. Feels like the time comes around to be so tired and unmotivated to try it. Yeah, I think the trick for me, I don't know, just speaking personally, I wish this race music would go away. Let's find somewhere else to explore. How about good old Divinity's Reach? The one and the only. Speaking of those beautiful Guild Wars cities.
I hate centaurs.
Where did he... Oh, he's probably down at the pub.
Finish my thought. Vand. I think for me, doing streaming content, the podcast, was an answer to being bored. Was an answer to feeling like I was too old for games and not getting what I wanted out of them. And in that sense, like, it's not about being too old. It's about just sitting down and playing games not being enough anymore. And maybe they never were. I've always had this kind of unsatisfied feeling when I play games, despite the fact that I'm compelled to play them. I feel compelled to experience them and share them and talk about them. Spiffy, do you bored right now? Not really. I'm just chatting with you guys. And enjoy being in the vibe of Guild Wars 2. Whenever I play this game, I pretty much always play through the story experience, and then I just go revisit random areas. Here, let me show you an area that's actually somewhat sentimental to me from my time playing with my wife. See if I can find it. But Kai, that's a big question. What MMO would excite me? I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure what new game could excite me, period. I kind of feel like I don't get excited about games anymore. I get excited about people, about ideas. Caesar Britannicus, have you read any of the interviews with the old art lead, Guild Wars 2, Daniel Dosi? Yeah, I have read some of Daniel's stuff. Daniel is a super, super impressive person. Anything about those interviews that stands out to you, Caesar? I can't remember anything in particular. How do I get to Claypool from here? Do I have to go through the mines? I don't think I know. I can go by the water treatment area, right? feel like his philosophies have a huge impact on how the game looks. I don't know a lot about Daniel's philosophies. But yeah, he was the original art director, wasn't he? And isn't his son the current art director? Aim for a painterly aesthetic. Yeah, the whole painterly aesthetic. But it's such a unique painterly aesthetic, isn't it? Like, it doesn't look anything like Braid or any of those other painterly kinds of games. It's so distinct. Alright, that's what I wanted to show y'all. And squeeze through here. Nice. So this is Claypool. This is like the first area in Guild Wars 2 that my wife and I really connected with. When we first rolled our human characters, my warrior, who I'm playing now, and her on her guardian, we were exploring around and we found this town. In the southern part of the map, kind of tucked away, the township of Claypool. Has these little events where you can like practice blocking and shooting and whatever. And a square and this little crafting hub here. It's kind of tucked away from the city. It feels really nice. And we would always log off and log on here. We still reminisce about it from time to time. Those are the moments that really matter. It's like, yeah, the game is great, but when the game successfully transports you into a connection, that's what's really good, I think. And that's what I don't know how to get from Guild Wars anymore. But that might just be a me problem. I don't know. Alright. Apparently he worked at Amazon Game Studios and then One More Game after reading that. Whatever One More Game is, one of those newer companies operated by veterans like Dreamhaven from Warheim. I didn't know that about Daniel. Kai, you remember this too. Great starting area. Build that escort mission around the river. Yeah! Actually, one of the things I really gave some serious thought to is rolling a fresh account. There are so many things about new character creation in Guild Wars that is contaminated by the fact that almost everything you do in the game is an account based on lock. So if I create a new character, they start with an insane level of advantage and convenience. And I think in order to really experience what's good about the game properly, you kind of have to take it at the pace it was designed for. So I thought about actually making a new account and just going through all the old vanilla content with no glider, no mount, progressing through everything, and maybe actually taking the time to experience PvP and World v World like I never used to. Having to put resources and time into getting gear again. I think I really miss caring about my gear and trying to get better gear. Or different gear. Oh. Hey, a fellow racer. Look at this guy. Running into people in the world like that? Seeing how they're setting up their characters and taking down cool threats. Let's see if there's a world boss I can do right now. No, Spiffy, I'm definitely not bored. In fact, I think that you have to be a little bored in order to be creative. So maybe I'm just allowing myself to be a little bored. I remind you of One Punch Man. Is that an anime thing? Yeah, let's find a world boss. I know I have the world boss thingy here. Oops. That's the wrong thing. Hello, Spiffy. I saw what you said about fun playstyles in Planetside. I'm definitely not done with Planetside. So I will take you up on that sometime. He is so powerful that nothing matters to him anymore. It's a very fun concept. Well, I'll take that as a comparison as a compliment. But yeah, my character is kind of like One Punch Man in this game. I'm so powerful that nothing matters. And here's the true hub of Guild Wars 2. I think it's one of the saddest things about it, perhaps, is you have these convenience items sold in the gem store, which will give you the scrolls that'll teleport you to convenience areas that have every single service you need in the game. And this particular hub has an additional service, which is Portal to the Fractals, which is the dungeon equivalent for Guild Wars. And this is where most people who actually play the game actively end up hanging out. These convenience portals. You're not actually in the world, not actually in the cities. These little private clubs. Something about that always made me sad. Anyway, I was going to go find the world boss. Where's my world boss? Here it is. Imminent threat. Golem Mark II. Drakkar. Dragonstorm. Oh, we can go do the world boss version of the Dragonstorm fight. Let's go have a look at that. This might be interesting. Kai, the way you say that an anime thing every time makes me feel so ashamed. Kai, I gotta level with you. I have a hard time connecting to anything anime related, and I also have seen a lot of very degenerate seeming things from the anime community. So, and whenever I refer to anime, I try not to dig at people who enjoy it, because I'm confident there's a way to enjoy anime that's not creepy. I just haven't put in the time to figure it out for myself. Ooh. Do I watch anime? The last anime that I've watched was, I watched Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop when I was, whenever those came out, 15, 20 years ago. That's how I got into Nujubes, actually. Now my problem is I just don't make time to watch any TV, y'all. Like, I basically only watch TV when I'm hanging out with my wife. And so I first to spend time together on weeknights when we're tired. But I spend all my free time making content and playing games now. I think the last TV series I watched on my own Steam, like by myself, was I watched Breaking Bad when I was in the hospital years ago. Let's see. World Boss. Mob Psycho from the same guy that did One Punch Man's pretty fun too. Honestly, try to filter out the weird stuff and focus on the good stories. Pretty easy to do that. I bet you there are plenty of good stories too. Cowboy Bebop was the first anime in Toonami ages ago. Yeah, rest in peace, Nujubes. For real, dude. For real. Kai, you're a reformed weeb. Used to be into anime and kind of failed to keep up with the stuff. Just randomly watch shows every now and then. Yeah. I don't know, I think for me, part of it is a lot of like the presentation style of anime never really called to me. Most anime. Also, I don't know. I just never, I don't even want to talk about it because I just feel like I don't have a leg to stand on where anime is concerned. I would ask for a suggestion of a good anime to watch, but I just have to be honest, I will probably never watch it. It's too little time. So how do I do the world boss thing? Dragonstorm. You can't travel right now. How do I do Dragonstorm? Dragon response mission, Metrica, Thunderhead, Bloodtide, Mortis Champion. Bone Skinner, Cold War, Rainier. I don't see it. Anyone know? Maybe over here? Do I have to join a squad, maybe? Let's see. There's Moon. Still kicking ass. Love it.
I'll take you to the dragon fight, Commander.
Here we go. Speak with the pilot to join the battle. Oh yeah, here we go. Public. Let's Zerg. Van, you have a feeling Ninja Beast would have been really popular with hip-hop folks in the West if he hadn't passed away so early. Yeah. Oh boy, this is crushing my frame rate. Look at all these characters. Look at all these guild warriors. Let's go. I have my Guild Wars tuned to look nice right now and not to run fast. I can mitigate this somewhat. Let me tune a couple things. Let's do... Actually, probably this is what I want it to be. What about shadows? Shadows. Let's put that to like medium, maybe? That helps a little bit. Nope, this is a instanced PvE event. With public matchmaking.
Coming in for a landing, Commander.
The area's cleared, Kate. Bring him down.
We break the champion's connection to the dragons. Then we use that magic against them.
What'll happen to Bram? To Ryland?
The one thing you hate about anime is the squeaky girls that are in some of them. God, they're annoying. You love Bleach, but the girl is annoying.
Nice of you to clear out the trash for me.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that really repulsed me about anime was the way it can infantilize women. I'm sure that not every anime does that. And maybe it's just like a horny internet person thing. Man. That shit is
Jormag has not yet joined him, champion. You
Oh,
must
so
draw them
laggy.
out.
We're long past excuses, Ryland. You made your choice. This needs to end.
So this is the same story we did earlier, but it's scaled up for more players. Repulsed. Yeah, I think that's the way I feel. Did you guys watch Shockter's stream when he was doing the charity drive earlier in the month? I guess he's still working on it, but one of the incentives he had was to have one of his mods delete his anime folder, which was full of pictures of a female anime character. Like sexy pictures and pictures of her in combat and stuff. And I don't know. Maybe someone needs to explain to me what's cool about that. You have no clue what's going on the screen right now? Classic Guild Wars complaint. Classic Guild Wars complaint. I mean, if I zoom way out, is that better or worse? What a degenerate weeb. Like, I don't really want to call people names, but
Let him leave. We can't get distracted.
I find that stuff creepy.
That didn't go to plan.
He'll be back. His pride won't let him stay away long.
Where he gets that from. In the meantime, fire alarm!
A little better. Okay.
Bram, are you yourself?
This is bringing my computer to its knees. Holy shit.
We're not here to kill you. We're here to kill Primordus.
We are Primordus.
Nice. Very nice. Come and get me.
I can zoom in? Okay. How far zoomed in do you want to go? Here. Let's go like immersive zoom in. This will be good.
Almost there.
Time for some visual aids.
Come forward. You're sealed.
Armored up.
You will obey.
There is first person, but there's no weapon model. You can zoom into your head, but it doesn't really do anything interesting. I kind of wish it did. That'd be very cool. But yeah, most people play just zoomed all the way out. That's how you can see what's actually happening. You bet all the players that are with you are just as OP. Yeah, the meme about Guild Wars players is that all they do is auto attack. I think it's less true as time goes on, but there's definitely some truth in it. I like Kabram's punchy arms. So cool. People are going to complain about having to sit through this cutscene every time. I just know it.
Ice. Just try it.
My champion.
Getting some buffs.
Fear the frost.
Icebrood reinforcements.
They're drawing on the ley line. It'll shift the power in Jormet's favor. That's bad.
How huge fan of bad. What do we do?
We need to destroy the ley line siphons. Do that and we can break the connections to the dragons. I'm sure it'll be no problem.
Strong. I've stayed my hand before, brother. No more.
So for you Planet Men out there, did you guys see that the containment site's coming tomorrow?
Chains us together.
I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, the next story chapter is dropping tomorrow. It was announced on Twitter just a few hours ago. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. It might be a week from tomorrow. Maybe I'm dumb. Let me double check. Yep, it is the end of the month. Where else says containment sites come to life tomorrow? Yep. And when's the downtime going to be? I'll have a look over the post after we get done with this.
Don't let up. We've got to bring both champions down.
Strong.
Urge to kill rising.
Trying to do, kid.
Ram, come on. This hurts us more than it hurts you.
Could stand to have it hurt us less.
Same time. One is not enough. We've got to bring
Ready to drop some money in the game when it comes out. That's the way, buddy. That's what Rel wants to hear. Drop those planet bucks. I think I'm going to spend some money on some vehicle cosmetics next time I buy Daybreak Cash. Like, I want to make my Harasser and my Sundra, like, look pimped out.
almost ready. Stand your ground.
So the interesting thing about this particular boss fight is that it's instanced. One of the things that Guild Wars has traditionally done is just put all of its world bosses out in the world. Which is actually very cool in a way, because you can kind of stumble into them.
You won't escape.
But it has some knock-on effects, some epiphenomena that result from it that I think annoys some people. It's hard to control access to these encounters. And so some parts of the community are pretty excited this is happening in an instance, but I think it kind of weakens the overall promise of the open world a little bit. And it's less out of done less out of a desire to give players more accessibility to spinning up the content and more as an expedient to develop it in a way that's less intensive. Harder to change open world maps than it is to just make new instances, I suspect. I think that this is a tuned for up to 80 players, Spiffy. Which is pretty fucking cool. And actually, a lot of them are culled from my screen. So if I hold down a button, you can see all the nameplates here. Everyone is here. That's one of the things that Guild Wars does really well. Is there's actually quite a lot of content. It has a ton of people in it. The game definitely slows down a bit, but it's pretty epic. But look at this. This is just epic as shit. I love this. This is one of my wife's favorite things to do in the game when we play together. We do these world bosses, big meta events.
You won't escape. I nearly died.
Yeah, there's basically a button I hold down to make the nameplates show up. If you notice, a lot of them don't have players underneath them because I have their player models culled out. Because just like in Planetside and Guild Wars, when you're rendering a lot of players on the screen, it just zaps your performance. Now we attack.
Use the prisms now. The champions are hanging on to dragons by a thread.
Oh yeah. Most bosses are tuned to be pretty easily defeatable, but you definitely can fail to take on the boss. At this point in the game, most of the strategies are so well known by the community that it doesn't happen very often, but it used to happen more often.
Strong.
It's kind of boring though, don't you think? Like everyone queued in here just have solo wield and do no interaction. You can go AFK and it wouldn't matter. Yeah, I think that's the downside of having big events, big emergent events like this, is they can't be hard, right? Because if they were hard, then no one would ever complete them. And because they're not hard, it's just like, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. And one of my old complaints about Guild Wars is that sometimes it feels like a game that's not for anybody. Like, it just tries to prevent people from leaving. Sometimes. Rather than trying to figure out who they want to make their games for. But then again, it's not just a Guild Wars thing, it's an industry thing. And huge games need huge audiences to work. So, I mean, I get it. It's, again, maybe an artifact of me and maybe you too, Kai, and our changing tastes. Boom! There are some world bosses where there are mechanics that can more easily hurt you or screw things up. And those can be very, very engaging. Absolutely. Like at one point in the first expansion, there was this meta event called the Chalk Jarrett that was tuned in a way that it was very challenging to complete. And when you have challenging events in the world, what happens is the community comes together to try to organize And you get these cool guilds that are built around taking down certain encounters. But then they nerfed the chalk Jarrett, and now those communities just... I don't know. I don't think they do that anymore.
Come and get it. Go ahead. Hit it. Gaining adrenaline. You won't escape.
Alright, I'm gonna go fight Ryland. Ryland's wrecking people. Look at all these dead bodies over here.
Another fine example.
Gaining adrenaline.
Oh no, it's gonna wreck me now. And let me revive some people.
Armored up.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Hit it.
Your seams are showing.
Almost ready.
When a player dies, they go down into a down state. And if any enemy that they tag dies when they're down, they get back up. Or if an ally comes by and heals you, you get back up. If you get
I feel it,
killed
champion.
while you're down, you
The
get into a defeated
connection's
state,
weak.
and you have to respawn from a waypoint. The stakes for living and dying in this game have always been pretty weak. Dying is not really that penalized. Zap. Get zapped by Mortis. Get zapped.
Is this working? Is this genuinely actually working?
Stay focused. One last push. For Bram. For all of us. Champion, help me! There's too much. There's power. It's so wild. Get to the prisms. Champion, I'm pulling you back.
Booster da! Whoa. Kai, I think the open world boss is more interesting. Random number of players with differing abilities with gear, so sometimes it can be brutal, sometimes easy. Sometimes you do world bosses in SWTOR and no one turns. And my little group would have to hand card carry the random newbies who just walked into it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's done, champion.
Did we win? Hang on, did I not get any loot? I guess I didn't get any loot. Okay. Maybe I'm missing something.
Armored up.
No chest if you did story mode already. Okay. Save a seat for me. Yeah, it's a big chopper. Anyway, I guess that's what's going on in Guild Wars 2 right now. If I was playing the game actively, I'd probably be repeating dragon response missions to try to unlock like weapon skins and whatever. This is where I tend to lose the thread. Because no matter how cool these weapons are, I don't care that much about cosmetics in MMOs unless they're symbolic of something very interesting. You like the kind of a situation because now it's like you're not one of the many randoms who queued up. You're the player who has to lead these other less experienced players to victory. Yeah. Yeah, and there's the commander tag in this game. That's kind of built around that too, where you can put on a tag to announce to players that you're gonna try to lead something like this. Here's the commander tag. Someone is wearing it.
Speak.
Okay.
The vigil will cure what ails this world.
Well, I don't think there's anything else in the game that I really want to look at. I'm considering covering this on my show on Monday, so I'm not sure if I want to look over the patch notes in detail. I might just save that. I'm not sure. But alongside this content drop also came arenas planned for the summer. They're planning a bunch of content to come out over the next few months to hold everyone over while we wait for news about the expansion. They've announced they will be giving us an announcement about the expansion 2 months from today. So in the meantime, they're going to be giving players an incentive to go back and repeat all the old story content, it sounds like. Also sounds like they're going to be doing a big balance patch, which should refresh the game for people who care about that. And they're also going to be adding in a boss fight that has been lost to time back into the game in some way, which I'll probably tune in for because I never have to play that content. But
Can I help you?
I would say that probably if you're Guild Wars curious, honestly, if it were me and I never played the game, I would probably wait until End of Dragons comes out and see what people say about it. Because all the content that's coming out between now and End of Dragons will be here when End of Dragons comes out. Wait and see what people think. I'll be one of the people playing End of Dragons and letting you know what I think about it. Because I don't think that... I don't know. That's just my recommendation, I guess. If I'm making a recommendation to someone who is like me, that's what I would say. Wait and see what people think. But if you have a burning desire to experience the old story for the first time, you've never done it before, honestly, it's pretty good. There's a lot to catch up on. That's something that you like doing. But I'm going to log out.
Give me a report.
I think that I'm going to have a look over the Planetside patch notes. And then we're going to call it an early stream tonight. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see what Rel has to say. Posted about it's under 5 hours ago. You're going to play on the test server and feel how crouching has changed. Oh, yeah, interesting. I'll be kind of fascinated to see what that looks like. All PC servers will come down for the following changes on Wednesday at 6 a.m. Pacific. 3 o'clock CEST. 3 hours. An unassuming black pistol rests on the large polished desk, as if part of the decor. He holds his hands neatly. May I offer you a drink? I declined. An assistant leaves the room and shuts the door quietly behind her. I understand the position you are now may seem unfavorable, but I'd ask you to keep in mind who your creditors were prior. A lump formed in my throat. After you've completed the program, your debts will be forgiven. Your family will be looked after in the event that you fail. I glanced down at the papers in front of me. The campaign finale. Araxis celebrates the construction of the first major facility built terrestrially. That's a word. Since the war began. A representation of each faction's combined efforts to quell the instability on Estimir. This is actually pretty cool. The first major facility built since the game came out. That's actually kind of a huge milestone. That deserves a round of applause, in my opinion. With the last chapter of our campaign, the roaming energy storm on Estimir is dissipated, now controlled by the new containment sites that have been constructed. We already knew this. These massive underground facilities bring with them new challenges and gameplay never before seen in Planetside 2. For the PC, this last chapter of the Shadow Wargate campaign will start on May 5th and run through June 30th. Oh, so the campaign doesn't start until May 5th. That's a week from Wednesday. I guess that means we're going to have a week to play around with the containment site before the campaign activates. My audio is kind of choppy. Thank you for saying something. I will endeavor to fix that. Is this any better? Test, test. Okay, cool. If that happens again, just let me know. I use a software audio mixer and occasionally gets into a weird state, but I can't tell myself. So we have a week before the campaign starts. While the campaign will eventually end, Estimir's forever change. The containment sites are here to stay, at least until another catastrophe. Lol. Okay. The containment site's a large-scale facility new to Estimir in Chapter 3 of the Shattered Warp Gate campaign. There are multiple stages of combat where soldiers will fight around and through the facility. Vehicle combat is emphasized outside the facility, requiring the destruction of multiple weak points to bring down the gate shields, barring entry within the hub of the facility. Destroyable SCU will disable defender spawn locations on the first floor of the facility. Attackers then descend into the lower region of the facility, fighting for capture points held in the botany and reliquary wings, as well as within the Tempest capacitor. Did any of you guys play in the second week playtest? The one where they added the attacker hard spawns? I didn't get a chance to do that. The botany and reliquary capture points also activate a spawn room for attackers within the facility. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was needed in the first playtest. You could really tell. Allowing them to establish a tenuous foothold within the base. During the fight for capture point control, defenders spawn within the sublevel must fight their way back toward the surface to resecure. Yeah. Okay. Vents, reliquary ring, attacker spawns. We know all this stuff. What else do we care about here? Notable changes. The storm getting removed. Does it mention not communications? Yeah, actually, right here. 2 underground routes to capture points have been added. Relocated 2 capture points. Shield generator moved outdoors. Defender entry point has been modified. What do you think about that guy? I can't picture what not comms looks like. What is this? Okay, Defender entry points been modified. Sounds promising because the first revision on PTS had 2 bad choke points for defenders. Gotcha. Going from the spawn into the point room the attackers were holding. Okay. Tech plant spawn rooms? Yeah, of course. The ones that have the little tunnel that helps you cover ground to the facility, right? It was like that with only the left doorway entering the room. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a choke. I want to see what this is. Hazards and environment, river crossings. Northwestern Shallows has been expanded slightly. Modified central bridge to allow for sick jumps. Hang on. Let's make this bigger. Is there sound? You guys can't hear it. Hang on. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, here's the link, Spiff. I'm not going to go over the base stuff. I'm going to look at all this tomorrow when we're actually playing. Hazmat bundle. Camo, a banner, a title, and some hordes. Okay. Post-collapse bundle. What would happen if the nanites shut down? This bundle hazards a guess. Oh. A modified drop pod shell with an inbuilt heater for cold weather deployments. Does that look different than the existing drop pods? Oh, Symbiote's getting fixed. I'll make heavies a little less annoying to fight against. I don't care about phylactery. Heavyweight. I am definitely going to try to find some ways to troll with heavyweight on my light assault. This looks very fun. God Rays are back. You guys care about the God Rays stuff and all the community discussion about returning visuals? Kai, yeah, you do. Will you be playing with the God Rays on? That's good. Huh. More thumping in the future? Yeah, I think a lot of people don't play on Potato. Oh, here we go. This is the payload. This is, I think, the good stuff right here. Listen up. Looking forward. Feels like it's been forever since we've had a nice, juicy update to send out. This one has definitely been a bit of a learning experience from our side, and hopefully the wait will have been worth it. The new facility carries with it visual stylings that we can use elsewhere in the future. has some big gameplay experiments that we can integrate with other bases if they end up feeling as intuitive as we'd like them to be. One of the big aspects of the containment site's gameplay was trying to bring more stages to encounters, so that the gameplay felt more like a siege of a castle than hammering on a spawn room till the capture point flips. The base is meant to accommodate massive populations. During our first public playtest, we had more than 400 players in the same base on Saturday, more than 500 in the same base on Sunday. Absolutely insane. Thank you to all the folks who were able to come out and help with the testing, including the focus testing group who gave us targeted feedback behind the scenes. We'll be continuing to polish the remaining visuals of the facility after this release, and we'll look to squash any remaining bugs with the following hotfixes. After this update, the majority of the team will shift forward to working on the NSO update, while a smaller portion of the team will continue on the new player experience that we have targeted for summer. For the new player experience update, we're looking to not only revamp the tutorial, but take a look at new players' experience more holistically. This means we'll be reevaluating things like the map, spawn system, how you find a squad or an outfit, what default equipment players have, how players figure out where to go, and so on. The intention is to get us into a better place to onboard new players before another large update hits towards the end of the year. You know, the one including a new continent. Oh yeah, baby. All aboard the fucking hype train. Okay. I'm pumped. Tomorrow night, containment site. I will be playing on my Vanu on Emerald. Y'all are cordially invited to come join me. Either here on stream or in game or both. And I think on that note, I'm going to call it a night. Playing Connery so you can kill me. That's such an tempting offer, Spiffy. You should make a Vanu alt on Emerald, Spiff. You can play in Connery, you can play in Emerald too. Biggest server in the game, yo. Join the Deeg Fit. Yeah, feel free. If you accept the danger, you can join my outfit. Okay, that's going to be it for me tonight, guys. I hope y'all have a good night or day, depending on what part of the world you're in. And I will catch you tomorrow around the same time. Hopefully a little earlier. I'm going to try to start like around 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. So